Shortly after Eno sacrificed Jewel for wealth, her life changed beyond her imagination. She no longer had to hawk water and drinks or sell roasted plantain and yam by the roadside for survival. Every day, whenever it was 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., a lot of money would mysteriously appear in her room. With the money, Eno bought a very big building in the city and she moved there. She also opened a very big boutique where she sold all kinds of wear, including male, female and children's wear, and her business boomed. While Eno's life changed, her relationship with Idara also got closer. The two became best friends and would attend marriages, parties and other ceremonies together. In fact, Eno was not only close to Idara, but she also became close to the other sisters in their occultic group, and she would hang out with them regularly. Eno believed that after she had killed Jewel under the disguise of showing her mercy, she wouldn't have to worry about any consequences or repercussions. But she was wrong. 3 months after Eno sacrificed Jewel, she began to have horrible nightmares. As if the nightmares were not enough, Jewel's ghosts began to appear to her in broad daylight, and sometimes at night, she would hear Jewel's voice calling her name. At first, when all of these started, Eno believed that she was experiencing all those things because she missed Jewel and was still feeling remorseful about sacrificing her for wealth. But when she couldn't bear the torment anymore, she told Idara about it, and Idara told her that it was a problem she needed to fix immediately. According to Idara, after making such sacrifices, the spirit of the victim could turn rogue and refuse to do the things it is supposed to do. So Eno had to go to her daughter's grave and do some binding spell. When Eno heard that she had to revisit her daughter's grave, she kicked against the idea immediately because she knew that revisiting her daughter's grave would make her emotional. But after she heard all the terrible things that could happen to her and her wealth if she did not do it, she had no choice. Later that night, when everywhere was dark, Eno and Idara went to Jewel's grave, and with Idara's help, Eno did all she needed to do. Just as Idara had assured her, Jewel's ghost stopped appearing to Eno after that day, and her life returned to normal. About a year after Eno became wealthy and began to live her lavish lifestyle, she met a man named Obie. Obie was a very successful man who owned multiple businesses in the city and lots of farmlands in his village where he planted palm trees, plantain, tomatoes, yams and so much more. Eno met Obie at a mutual friend's party, and the minute Obie saw her, he liked her. Obie had always wanted a successful, beautiful woman who didn't depend on men for money. So, when he saw Eno and her caliber of friends, he was convinced that she was a financially stable woman and a good fit for him. At the party that day, Obie started a conversation with Eno, and they clicked very well. Since they both enjoyed each other's company, they exchanged contacts that day, and a few days later, they went on a date. The date went smoothly, and from there, they went on many more dates just to get to know each other better. As time passed, the two of them began to date each other, and for the first time, Eno was happy that she had met someone who genuinely loved her. She had told Obie about her past struggles, and she lied that she had lost Jewel because of a sudden sickness. Since Obie knew that Jewel had sickle cell, he comforted Eno and told her not to be too hard on herself because it was normal for most sickle cell children to die at a very young age. Eno used the sickness as a cover for her atrocity because she knew she could never tell Obie the truth. Even though Eno had genuinely loved Emeka, after she met Obie, she completely forgot about her hurt and fell deeply in love with him. To show Obie that she really loved him, Eno would regularly buy him expensive gifts, take him on expensive dinner dates, and sometimes single-handedly sponsor a vacation so they could go somewhere and have fun. All this continued for a while until Obie asked Eno to marry him. Out of all the girls Obie had met, he loved Eno the most, and he really looked forward to spending the rest of his life with her. 2 months after Eno said yes to Obie, they got married, and their wedding was the talk of the town. It was very colorful, and many important personalities attended their wedding. A few weeks after Obie and Eno tied the knot, Eno got pregnant. When Eno found out that she was pregnant, she could not control her tears of joy. More than anything, Eno wanted to be a mother again. She believed that giving birth to more children would make up for what she had done. In fact, if Eno had her way, she would have carried more than 3 babies at once, so she would totally forget about Jewel. Luckily for Eno, her pregnancy was very smooth. She did not have to suffer like she suffered for Jewel's pregnancy. She ate whatever she craved for, and she had no reason to worry about anything because she was rich and Obie was also rich. To ensure that her baby would have the luxury Jewel never had, Eno shopped for all kinds of baby clothes, and she even set up a nursery before the baby was born. While Eno was making all these preparations, she had no idea that something terrible was about to happen. 2 weeks before her delivery date, Eno began to notice that her mega business was crumbling. Also, Jewel's spirit was no longer delivering money like it used to. The amount of money had dropped, and she was also experiencing a couple of negative things around her. When Eno began to experience a series of bad luck, she talked to Idara about it, and that was when Idara told her something that sent chills down her spine. "Eno, my friend, I think it's time for you to renew your sacrifice," Idara said. "It has to be the only explanation for all the things you have been experiencing." "Renew my sacrifice? What do you mean by that? I thought sacrificing Jewel was the only thing I had to do," Eno asked. "Really? You thought that I have been able to sustain all this wealth just because I sacrificed my husband years ago? There are so many things you still do not know," Idara said. When Eno realized that she would have to make another sacrifice, she began to cry. Even though she was happy with her material wealth, she wished she had not gotten into such a mess. "Is there no other way I can do this?" Eno asked in tears. "If there was another way, don't you think all of the sisters would have done it? My dear, better brace up because you signed up for this," Idara said. "Who will I sacrifice? I love Obie so much, and I cannot live with the guilt of sacrificing that innocent man for money," Eno said. "Right now, I don't know who you will have to sacrifice. When you meet with the Queen Mother, she will tell you what to do." After Eno had gotten the information she wanted, she thanked Idara and returned home. As soon as Eno returned home that evening, Obie could tell that she was sad about something. "Is everything all right?" Obie asked when Eno entered the living room. "Yes, everything is fine. It's just that I'm having a headache and it's annoying me," Eno lied. "You should go inside and rest, and I will make dinner for us," Obie said as he led Eno to their bedroom. Later that night, while Obie slept, Eno could not sleep. She stayed up to watch him. Eno was heartbroken that she would have to sacrifice another person she loved most. She hated that it had to be Obie because he had been so kind to her and he showered her with so much love. There must be another way. I'm not ready to go through so much pain again. After all, what is the essence of all this wealth if I am not happy and can't live with the ones I love? Eno soliloquized. That night, When Eno spiritually attended their occultic meeting, just as she had feared, their queen told her that she would have to sacrifice her husband, Obie, since he was the one she loved the most. As soon as Eno heard that, she broke down in tears and begged the queen to help her out. After crying and begging the whole night, the queen agreed to help Eno, but on the condition that she would have to sacrifice someone else, and it was no other than the baby in her womb who was almost due for delivery. Upon hearing that, Eno cried even more because she knew she had to make a difficult choice. It was either the baby she had been longing for or her husband. Knowing that she had very little time left, Eno chose to sacrifice her baby. She preferred for Obie to stay alive with her. Shortly after she agreed to sacrifice her baby, Eno woke up and began to scream in pain. When Obie woke up to see that Eno's side of the bed was covered in blood and Eno was almost lifeless because of the pain, he rushed her to the hospital. The doctors could not explain how Eno suddenly entered into labor when she still had 2 weeks left. Unfortunately for Obie, because of the critical and unexplainable condition Eno was in, the doctors asked him to choose between Eno and the baby. Because Obie loved his wife so much, he told the doctors to save Eno, and at the end of the surgery, the baby didn't make it. Even though it was very devastating for Obie, he had to stay strong for Eno. When Eno regained consciousness after her surgery, and she learned that they had lost their baby, she cried so much. She knew that she was responsible for their baby's death, and her tears were not just tears of losing her child, but of guilt and regret. Initially, Obie expected that Eno would mourn their dead baby for days or weeks, and after that, she would return to being the lively and vibrant woman she used to be. But he was wrong. Even after weeks passed, Eno would not stop mourning their baby. She became depressed and even turned into a shadow of herself. She wouldn't eat, get out of bed, or even attend to her business. Eno also had trouble sleeping at night. Sometimes, Obie would catch her talking to herself. "My love, for how long will you continue like this?" Obie asked. "Just because we have lost our baby does not mean I have to lose you too. Please, don't do this to me," Obie added. Eno had also stopped talking to Obie or any of her friends, including Idara. She even refused to see any visitors. 2 months after Obie and Eno lost their baby at the hospital, something strange began to happen. Eno would suddenly tell Obie that she was hearing the cry of a baby, even when there was no baby in their house or around them. When it started, Obie believed that she was still suffering from the effects of the baby they had lost, and he tried to assure Eno that there was no baby around and that her mind was only messing with her. But things only got worse. Sometimes, Eno would suddenly run out of the house screaming, "Leave me alone!" Other times, she would just break down in tears and say, "I'm so sorry! Please forgive me!" When Obie could not take his wife's weird and unexplainable actions any longer, he decided to get her medical help, thinking that the loss of their baby had taken its mental toll on her. But before he did that, what he found out shocked him. The day Obie was supposed to drive Eno to the mental clinic, Eno woke up that morning and began to scream. "I will confess! I will confess!" Then she began to tell Obie how she had sacrificed her first daughter, Jewel, for wealth. She also told him that she was responsible for the death of their baby, and she had to choose between sacrificing him or the baby in her womb. When Obie heard everything, he could not believe that Eno was actually part of a secret occultic group and that she could be so heartless and wicked as to kill her own children just for material wealth. It was almost like she was a different person. Disappointed and heartbroken at what he had heard, Obie left Eno that same day. After realizing that he had lost his child because of a selfish woman who could have almost killed him, he swore never to see her again. Unfortunately for Eno, she broke the one rule of her secret occultic group. She was not supposed to tell anyone about her source of wealth, but she did, and as a result, she ran mad. After Eno ran mad, none of the sisters from the occultic group, not even her friend Idara, tried to help her. Eno ended up roaming the streets of the city that way, and sadly, the spirits of her dead children haunted her until the day she passed away. She ran into a moving car and was knocked dead on the spot. As for Obie, he never remarried. The incident with Eno scarred him for life. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe. Also, do not forget to follow our channel on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.